and, you know, talk about their issues and feel that they're not isolated.
Nadine, what's your role within Signposts?
I'm a floating support worker.
Could you describe how you structure the client support?
At the point of assessment, we identify their priority needs and goals, and then that would dictate how often we would then see the client for a key work session. Through the key works, we would then set goals on a weekly basis if it was that we were seeing the client on a weekly basis. The support goals would then be reviewed with the client, and new goals would be set, or if the goal was still outstanding, depending on why the goal wasn't being achieved, we would then work with the client to explore if there's any further support that's required at the time, or if that goal is not classed as achievable at that time. Realistically, basically, we use the SMART goal, which is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and time-bound.
So what's a success story that stands out in your mind?
A success story within the service, the floating support service, is the networking that we've achieved with different agencies and organisations around the Luton area. We've contacted the services and arranged to carry out presentations at their headquarters, presentations to staff members of what we offer as a service, and from that we've gained quite a few referrals for our service, and we're continuing to progress with those and just spreading the word about Signposts, what we do, and we've built up brilliant relationships now with agencies. Recent success story that I've had with a client, it was the biggest domestic violence case within Bedfordshire, and I took on the case with the client and had to support the client in going from temp accommodation to permanent stable accommodation. That was the priority need, and basically resettling the client into the home environment, supporting the client to achieve stability in mental health, attending child protection meetings, and the client is now stable in mental health. Still with the intervention of social services, but on all the levels, on all the identified priority needs, they have progressed and she's now in stable accommodation.
What's your vision of the future for Signposts?
I would like to see Signposts expanding. I would like to see Signposts delivering support before the hostel stage, like supporting clients on the streets, like homeless level. That's what I would like to see, and just continually growing from strength to strength with progress.
Fiona, tell us a bit about your background.
Right up until 3.5 years ago, my life was normal, whatever you want, how you want to put that. I had a job, I had my youngest daughter at home with me. Then I met a bloke and fell in love, the usual. Knew he was a user of Class 8, but I didn't realise how bad it was. I did ask him not to bring it into my home, do it in front of my baby, and don't turn my house into a crack house. He'd done them two things that I asked him not to do. So in the end, I had to put my little girl into foster care because she had no right to see none of that because she's only 8 years old. And then after I put her into foster care, I started using myself, and it didn't take me long to realise that this wasn't me at all. So I got myself on a script. And so far I'm doing all right, but I did get stuck in a rut. I wasn't quite sure if I was coming or going. So I referred myself to CAN, and my key worker referred me to Signposts, and so far.
So what sort of thing do you do with Signposts, with your key worker?
Oh, she's brilliant. She's helping me with my housing because I need to get out of my house. If I want my life to move on, I need to give up that house because that's where all the rubbish is really, and people still not leaving me alone. They're still coming out, expecting me to open the front door and smoke. I don't want that. So she's helping me with that. She's helping me with my debts and my finances because I can't save. I'm no good with money at all. She's absolutely brilliant, and she's there if I want to moan, which guaranteed does happen. Then she's there to listen. She's absolutely fantastic. Brilliant.
And what do you hope for the future? What are your goals?
My goals is get my baby home, move. That's first things first. Move, get my little girl home where she belongs, and to get my life back to where it was, because I was happy until 3.5 years ago, no problems at all.
And what would you say to anybody that was considering coming to Signposts?
Come, because they are absolutely fantastic. They don't look down at you. Society seems to sort of like reject you, but they don't. They don't judge you. They don't look down at you. And if you ever need someone to, you know, talk to, if they're not full of empty promises, they will help you. And they're absolutely, and you don't have to be scared to pick up the phone to ring for help, because they won't even hesitate to come around and see you when you need them.
So Jacqueline, you're a floating support worker. What does that involve?
It involves working with clients in the community. So I float into the community, help them, and then you know, improve their independence and just generally support them.
What do you enjoy most about what you do?
Working with the clients. I think it's a privilege to work with clients who are very vulnerable and who offer me almost like their life story from the moment they meet me, all their issues and everything. They feel confident in expressing them to me and allowing me to support them.
You must have a lot of success stories. What would be a couple of success stories that stand out for you?
Yeah, I've had quite a few success stories in my time with Signposts, but the two that would stand out most for me are a young girl who came to us probably about 8 months ago. She's got lots of issues, health, social and emotional issues. She'd never lived on her own before, so it was really help with setting up her home, budgeting, planning her money, setting up utility bills, and just helping her with her daily living skills, because she'd never done it for herself. So she'd never cooked, she'd never put anything in an oven before, she'd never boiled an egg. You know, just from basic boiling an egg, and now she cooks meals, she goes shopping, she plans her budgets, and she's doing so well. And she's managing her money as well. So she doesn't have any bills either, so that's good.
And what about the other success
story?
And the
other success story, he is just so marvellous. He's such an inspiration. I've only known him for 3 months, but he's changed my life as I've changed his, because he's just amazing how he's coped with what he's coped with. He says that when I met him, he was on the brink of suicide. And just from meeting me, he feels that there is now a light at the end of the tunnel. And as I say, it's been a privilege to work with him, because every time I see him, he's just inspirational. He just comes out with little things and says, "This is because of you, Jacqueline." And I says, "No, it isn't. I'm just here as a sounding board. You're actually doing it all yourself." But it's just knowing that I'm there for him, and he feels confident to move on. 3 months ago, he thought his life was over. He said he hasn't got any friends. I said, "But you can make new friends." And he says, "Oh, I hadn't really thought of that." So it's just little things that I've said in the course of our conversations that he feels has changed his life. And I feel really proud that I've been there for him.
Kevin, what's your role within Signposts?
I support the Chief Exec in his job. I am responsible for a lot of the training within Signposts, and I'm line manager to Emmeline Irvin, the floating support manager, and Maggie Baldwin, the second stage projects manager.
Training is very important here, isn't it? What sort of training do you offer staff?
Well, we have a whole range of training. Obviously, we recruit people and we look at what training and qualifications they already have. We then go through a structured induction training program where they have to meet certain things and obviously get told the basics of our organisation, and that requires shadowing. We have then a vocational training package where we have set criteria which they continue to work on for the remainder of their 6 months probationary period, after which they have to sit an exam just to check their competence. We're not looking here to fail people and get rid of them. We're looking to see any areas where they still need further development so that we can support them. We then have what we call our mandatory training. It's the health and safety stuff, fire awareness and that sort of stuff. We do all of that, and we have we call it mandatory because we have to renew it every year. We teach that about 3 or 4 times a year so that all of the staff get an opportunity to attend.
And you're looking to invest in the staff, aren't you, and for them to progress
Definitely.
within the organisation?
Definitely, yes.
So what's been a success story that you've seen in your time here?
Well, we've got lots of people. We've got people that started off as cleaners, but they've got the right qualifications. We've got members of staff that started off as our clients and are now full-time members of staff. We've got young people that started out having left school without any qualifications and are now at university, so there are quite a few good ones here.
And what would you like to see for the future of Signposts?
Well, of course, you know, with the funding and with money generally, things are a bit tight at the moment. So it's about looking for opportunities and being aware of them, you know. We currently work with a number of other local organisations where we're bidding jointly for work so that we can continue to supply a floating support service to the people in Luton. We're looking at other opportunities for funding and therefore to develop our work both in Luton and in Central Bedfordshire.
So Karen, how long have you worked at Signposts?
I've been there for just over 3 years.
And you're in accounts?
I work in accounts, yes.
So you're not hands-on with the clients, are you? But what successes have you seen over the years?
Okay, well, when I started here, they had a derelict building which they were going to make into Dunstable 3. So I've seen, everybody was invited to go and see it as it progressed. So I've seen that turn from a derelict building ultimately into apartments and rooms for people to stay in.
So what do you enjoy about your role working somewhere like this? What's different about it?
This is very different because it's work. I've never worked for a charity before, and it's far more they care about people. Not just the service users, they care about the staff and everybody else. And I've never quite worked for a company like this before.
So what would you like to see for the future of Signposts?
Well, I think Signposts will go on to do bigger and better things. I think there's more people out there in need, and I think they're reaching out and they're looking at ways always to improve the services they offer and increase the services they offer.
So Isella, you've been with the company a very impressive 16 years. What's your role?
My role is PA to Chief Exec, that's Kevin Porter, and also to the trustees.
And over those 16 years, you must have seen some changes. How has it changed?
I started at Signpost 1, which is the main project, Dunstable Road. And then because of the growth of staff, you know, service users, projects, etc., we then moved to Union Street. And from there, then we moved up here, the head office, because, you know, with the increase of everything, the paperwork, etc., that also increased as well.
So you must have seen some successes as well over the years.
The 25th anniversary last year, I mean, you know, taking part in that, being part of that, you know, to know that we've been here for 25 years and hopefully for another 25 years to come.
And what would you like to see happen in those next 25 years? What do you see the future?
Well, the staff, I mean, the great work that they do, you know, the managers, etc., everybody just continue as they are and just to build upon what they already know.
The people I've met today come from all backgrounds and sections of society, but they all come together because of their common problem. They have nowhere to live. What's very apparent is that this issue reaches into every corner of our society, and no family is immune from the threat of homelessness. Signposts can't solve the problem of homelessness on their own, but while it exists in our community, they're doing everything in their power to not only provide safe accommodation for their clients, but they also challenge the prejudices and presumptions that surround homeless people.